football taken off over it. It's not that they're just, it's not that they're not brilliant sports. It's just, it's part of a culture. And then you have to, you know, it's like, how do you change a culture sort of thing, you know? And I'm sure if they got into snooker, they'd appreciate it and love it. I mean, when I went out there, you know, they had a lot of love for me and a respect for snooker because they play cue sports. They play on a 9.
You get recognised a lot, did you?
Well, not out on the streets, but whenever I went into like a pool hall, you know, one person would like say, and then you can see them all around the phones looking, and they've obviously YouTube me playing snooker, and then they're like, you know, they treated you like a god out there, you know, because they respect, you know, like I always say, snooker is the king of the cue sports. You've got billiards, you've got pool, you've got 9-ball, but everybody knows that, you know, the governor sport out of all the cue sports is snooker, you know.
Assam99X says, which performance do you regard as your best?
I always say, I think the performance, I don't know, we played in a match once in Torquay in the final, and it wasn't televised, but it was in the European Championships. And that was like, I thought it was a very, very, very good standard. I think you had 3 or 4 centuries, I had 3 or 4 centuries, and it was like one visit snooker. So a lot of my best matches were against you or John Higgins, but the only reason for that was because I knew that I had to play out of my skin to have a chance to win. And it's very rare both of us would fly, but every now and again we would both play well, and you go, "Oh, that's as good as it gets," you know. Yeah.
Kieran John 46. Basically, it's just he's asking about Dr. Steve Peters and an example of what he's. I mean, you don't have to go into details, obviously, but what kind of example of how he's helped you.
I suppose the easiest way to, and I just mentioned it before, you know, if I'd go into a tournament and I wasn't cueing well, I'd straight away convince myself that, you know, it just wasn't meant to be, you know, and I wasn't, I needed to play well to win. And with Steve Peters, you know, he kind of said, well, look, you know, that sort of thought process has to go out of your head. You know, it's now just about sort of, you know, living in the moment, play each shot as it comes, you know, tomorrow's another day, and just kind of, you know, being a bit more sort of optimistic about things potentially turning around. It might not always happen, but, you know, when you've had years of beating yourself up, it's very hard to...
Snooker's it's a lethal sport. You can do your head on it. Well, obviously it did mine at the end, but I mean, it's such that sport, it's the way it is. It can do your head in. Yeah,
I always say mentally it's got to be the toughest sport there is, because you're on your own, and there's not a lot. There's nothing you can do when you're sitting in your seat, and you know it's tough, you know, and it's mentally hard.
M Fawzi.
Yeah.
M Fawzi, what tournament do you enjoy playing in the most? Do you regret not playing in the Masters this year with how it was, the atmosphere and the new setup and everything, or the decisions you made, was you're happy with it?
Not really, because with the Masters, it's really tough because obviously I live in London, and the amount of people that want tickets, and, you know, I get given 10 tickets, and then, like, you know, it's like I end up like having to tell people that I really like that I can't get you a ticket, and sometimes I think that they think I'm just being difficult and awkward.
Yeah.
So it wasn't playing at the Masters, it was all that comes with it, and there's the press and the media, and then you got Eurosport and BBC. So after each match, you end up having to do like 6 or 7 interviews, and after last year's semi-final, they kept me there for 3 hours doing interviews about the next day's match, and I kind of went, you know what, I don't really want it that bad. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of like, I just want to play in the tournaments I enjoy.
Yeah. And so what's your ones you enjoy most then?
Well, to be honest with the China ones, you know, I know it's a bit of a hassle getting there. You know, the flight and the travelling. But actually, once you get there, they look after you like fantastically well. You know, you might do one little media interview after the match, which is fine. And, you know, they don't abuse you out there. You know, they're just happy that you're there, and they want, they want to work with you and not kind of, So I love playing in China.
Shanghai or Beijing?
Shanghai is fantastic. Shanghai is fantastic because they have proper promoters doing that tournament. They do like Formula One. What they're doing, you know, and you know yourself, when you work with great promoters, and they want to make your stay in a tournament and they treat you well, you kind of like you look forward to the tournaments more. You know, going back to the 2 Franks in Belgium, you know, and little events like that. You know, you just kind of you look forward to seeing them because you know that there's they're good fun, and it's going to be a good week. So yeah, Beijing's I prefer Shanghai as a place anyway. It's just a fantastic place. Beijing's great, and there's and every city that we go to in China is great apart from Yushan. It was a nightmare out there. I'm not saying the place wasn't great. The people were fantastic and look after you well, but it was just such a horrendous trip to get there. So I'm not sure I'll probably go there again unless they got their checkbook.
I think you what?
Unless they got their checkbook out.
Well, you're talking about like tournaments being run well, and watching these classic matches. I mean, I know you should talk about tobacco, but they did put on some great events, didn't they? They were prestigious events. They looked after the players lounges. There was an atmosphere at every event. Now you go to a tournament. That's the only thing I think. There's no atmosphere backstage. Okay, the snooker's fantastic, but backstage everything, they're on these soulless places. Yeah,
that's exactly what's killed it for me as well. I think I was spoiled. We had the best of it, and I think it's a lot easier if you hadn't experienced that and coming into snooker now, because you wouldn't know any different. But like you say, the Rothmans, the Hexagon, the Masters at Wembley, the Benson Hedges, all the hospitality. I remember Dubai. What the hospitality out there was fantastic, and that's the stuff where you feel like you're being really treated well, and you kind of you look forward to the trips and the tournaments more. You can't wait to get there. Where sometimes you go to tournaments now, and the hospitality in the plate. It's
players now they've got to pay for their drinks at the bar. We didn't used to have to pay for our drinks. So we went to the bar.
Oh, it's mental.
You got to pay for a Coke.
It's absolutely mental. I even got thrown out of the players' lounge in the Masters because I didn't have my pass on me. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, I don't even really want to be there, but just a friend of mine was there, so I just wanted to go say hello to him.
Vakitov DE, what did he have for breakfast today?
Porridge with goji berries and some other stuff to put in there.
Are you eating healthy? Are you doing lots of cooking?
I am now. For the last 2 months, I've just absolutely gone for it, and I put on about a stone, and I looked at myself on a vodcast on Eurosport the other day, and I was like, and I thought, I can't let it happen. So I just got back into my running, and then I got the barbecue on about 11:30 this morning. Cooking on a few bits. So yeah, trying to eat healthy. Really, I have to, because otherwise I blow up.
Gabe Goes Meow says, which of your 147s is your most memorable, if you can remember?
I think the one against Ding. In the Welsh.
Oh, that shot! Final. I was going to say, ask you later. That shot was incredible. Is that one of your best shots as well? It must be.
Yeah, because when I fancy my accuracy with my left hand is quite good, and I can get a good strike on the ball. So but to hit one down the rail in half a pocket, and then try and get the white back as well, and I hit it so well, and it just went in. I was like, wow, that was unbelievable.
That was ridiculous.
And then the pressure was really on, because up until then, there was no pressure on me, because where that red was, it was highly unlikely that I was going to get the 147. So I've gone from absolutely no pressure to wow, it's like, it's on there. So, they're great.
The 5.5 minute one, 5 minute 20, I mean, that must be up. That's never going to get done again. You're talking about things never being done again. That will never be done.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, you watch that. How fast you played there was ridiculous.
I know, and listen, it looked good, but that was the way I played and the speed that I played at. I was so careless that I was never going to win the World Championships if I carried on playing like that. So although the fans love it and it was really quick, matches win you one frame. To win the World Championships in the Crucible, I had to try and find some consistency from somewhere. So yeah, it was fantastic. But it was, I always say it's one of my worst 147s, because it was just a moment. It was like an inspirational sort of moment, And to win the World Championships, you can't win it on inspiration. It's just got to be just plodding away and just keep churning out and playing consistent snooker. So that maxi, although it was great, it wasn't one of my favourites.
Right. I can't even pronounce this. YVZ or YVZ or something. It's just. Is there a movie or documentary you suggest?
A movie or a documentary you suggest? Yeah, I
like. We were talking about this the other night, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads. You've got Netflix and you've got so much good stuff on there. But I like the Aaron Hernandez one. Have you seen that, about the American footballer?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it advertised. Yeah.
Oh mate, you have to watch that. It's so sad. And obviously, you just have to watch it, because he's a young guy. He just signed like a massive contract, played with Brady, you know, one of the top players in the team. But he had this bit of this history with him, and no one really wanted to take him on. And then obviously, you know, I don't want to ruin it for people, but he gets himself in a bit of trouble. And then eventually they look at his brain and see there's a part of his brain missing, probably through playing American football. So their kind of front lobe goes and their decision making's all over the show. So, you know, a lot of that maybe explained what happened to him. But yeah, it's just a sad story, really. But but gripping in many ways, yeah.
Vishwajit 147 says, do you have the desire left to win the World Championship?
Yeah, listen, I mean, of course I'd love to win the World Championships, but I think sometimes my life is so chaotic off the table, and I've tried...
Personally, I can't believe 6 years you've never won it in 6 years. How well you played in these seasons.
I know, but my life...
It baffles me.
Yeah, I know. I'm not making excuses. I never make excuses, but I just must admit, my off-the-table life has just made it a little bit difficult to really focus on snooker. And you know, listen, I have to take responsibility for that, but I've accepted it, and I make do with the best of it. And I'm not really. Listen, I mean, at one stage I'd have took one world title. You know, that's generally how I felt. So to win 5, I kind of have to pinch myself a little bit. And kind of go, well, if I never win another tournament, another world title, I shouldn't be too hard on myself. But don't get me wrong, I would love to win another world title.
You want it?
Yeah.
Cool. Wellsby says, if you could be the same standard in another sport, which one would you choose?
I mean, I love my boxing. I love it. Tennis, I think tennis is a great sport. Formula One. Golf, but I'd probably go for Formula One. You know, I love cars. I love speed. Yeah, I love speed. Yeah, it's sort of seem to have a good life, them drivers.
Maxwell 94. What team do you support?
Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, because I'm not really into, you know, a lot of these guys are into football. They really get passionate about it. So, and I don't really want to get into them conversations. So I thought, choose a team like Sheffield Wednesday. They kind of they go, what team do you want? I go, Sheffield Wednesday. It's like end the conversation. For me, it's fantastic.
In Scotland, it's Rangers of Celtic. Scotland, and you get with that one straight away.
Yeah.
Is there, someone says, have you ever thought of going vegan?
Listen, I think
you ate more fish than meat, didn't you?
More fish, more chicken, a little bit of steak now and again. But I think a lot of my diet since working with Rhiannon, without knowing it, she's kind of turned me into like an 80% vegan anyway. So I eat a lot of lentils, a lot of hummus and stuff like that, you know. So most of my diet is kind of vegan based, but not because I chose to go that way. It's just that that's the kind of foods that I eat most of the time. But I do love a little bit of steak and chicken and fish. So I can't see me going fully vegan.
No, I'll never do that. But I went last week. Last week I went 5 days vegetarian.
Did you?
That's the most I've ever gone in my life. I actually quite liked it. Cooked some nice stuff, but I was glad to have a big steak on a Saturday night.
Nice.
But no, it was good. What loss has hurt you the most? If you can pick one out.
I think losing to Higgins in the final of the Masters.
Was that when he doubled the red or something? He done the double,
mate. He done the double. But you just know with Higgins, he's going to get the doubles. So you're sitting in your chair and you're thinking like, there are doubles. I mean, I've got better at them, but with Higgins, he just plays them dead weight, like as if like it's a certainty, you know. So
penalty kicks for him, incredible.
Yeah, but that loss was quite hard to take because I made a 60 in the last, missed, and then I had another half decent chance. I missed that. And then you give someone like Higgins a little second chance, you know. You know, he's a predator.
I mean, if you had to pick one player who's like 50, you're 60 and behind, and you got to clear up with 61, Higgins would be up there to choose. He's unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah, different class. Yeah, different class at kind of clearing up from them situations under pressure. I mean, like that. I mean, all day put yourself in there as well. But you know, it's hard for us to say, we put ourselves in that. But like Higgins is unbelievable for that, and he's doing monster clearances.
Fally dudes, how did it feel making the 1000th century? Must have felt well. Were you nervous at all doing it or not?
No, not at all, because I thought I'm going to get there eventually, and and I kind of would have liked to have maybe done it at the Crucible, because I thought like the best place to do it would be the Crucible. So and I was building up to it, and I thought, shall I save it for the Crucible, and then I kind of like in the final play.
I was commentating. The atmosphere was incredible. It was
amazing. It was great,
amazing,
especially at Preston, the Guildhall. It's like that's one of the proper snooker venues. Yeah. So, to do it there in the final frame, having played really well all day, so it turned out to be a fantastic moment for me. Yeah.
Maren Manashagar, that can't be right. Do you teach snooker? Would you ever teach? I mean, I can't. I don't think I could ever teach snooker.
It's hard, isn't it? You're either a player or a coach, and a lot of these coaches, they love it, they'll just coach all day long. But for me, I'll just get too frustrated because I don't really, I don't really know what to do. I've got an idea, but I definitely wouldn't get into. I wouldn't mind doing what Griffiths does. If there's a good player, top player. And he said, look, could you come in my corner? For one, it'd get me out of the house. I like being at the tournaments. And to have an input in someone and see him do well would be, would maybe consider doing something like that at some point. Yeah.
Victoria asked me to do something with Ding 3 or 4 years ago. She says, will you mentor Ding? Will you travel around with him? And I thought, I just thought, if he comes into the dressing room 4-0 down, what do I say? I don't know what to say. What do you say to someone? You're like, Ian Doyle used to give me a bollocking. It was a hairdryer if I was 4-0 down. I can't start doing that to another player. And then I thought, what if he never wins a match? The whole of China will think I'm just absolutely hopeless. I can't have that pressure.
I think you have to be like Reardon was good with me. I'd come in and I'd want to have a moan up, and he would just spin it around, turn it into a positive, and just start sort of focusing on what we should do, and wouldn't let me dwell on it. So I think you've got to be good like that. And I'd find it difficult to sit there and think, I've got to try and give this guy a bit of belief in this and that. And I'm not one for, I'd probably, if he come in and he said he's 4-0 down, it's first to 5, I'd say, mate, get beat 5-0, let's get out of here, because it ain't going too well. You're queuing all over the gaff. You know what I mean? Just, and that's probably not the sort of advice they would want, So,
I'll start the car. I'll go and get the car ready.
Get the car ready, yeah.
Chiado says, are you planning on writing a book during quarantine?
Yeah, that's quite a good one. I mean, I've done a couple of biographies. They were great, and the fiction books were good. So we're already kind of writing the 4th sort of book. So a bit of that's going on always in the background.
Someone asked later on, was another question. Was a character? Was it Frankie in your book? Was it based on you?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. All right, okay.
Yeah,
I remember the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Favorite color? Let's say black.
Yeah. What's Marek Kenny says? If the World Championship was played July 25th behind closed doors, what would you think? Behind closed doors?
I think as long as it's safe and and
can you imagine being 17-all in the final and it's empty?
Oh no, mental, isn't it? Yeah, that's a terrible thought. When you think about it. I mean, I watched the Gibraltar Open, the final, and there was like no one in the crowd, and it was quite bizarre to watch it. But I suppose from a TV point of view, a lot of people are sitting there sort of, just wanting to watch some live sport, so maybe from that point of view, any type of World Championships would probably be better than no World Championships, really.
Yeah, I agree. Just see something to look forward to. I can't. This is just a nightmare. James McGarity, ever made a 147 left-handed?
I think I got to the green once in practice. So what that was 1-2-2. Yeah, I was on a 1-2-2 and twitched. Twitch. Funny thing is, I don't twitch left-handed. I hit the ball so well and strong. So,
Josh Coops 96. Does he regret not getting into the Tour and Players Championship? Will he be entering the World Championship? Well, of course he'll be entering it, but the Tour, the Players Championship, it was out. Yeah, I mean, if you don't get the points, that's it, isn't it? It's like
listen. If I wanted to be in them tournaments that bad, I would have entered the other tournaments to get in there. But
yeah.
my model is not based on what Stuart Bingham and what a lot of the other players do, which is I'll enter 20. I'm bound to do really well in maybe win 1 or 2, and I didn't want to kind of go along that. I just thought
it's a good series, that Coral series, though, isn't it? I think it's a good thing.
Fantastic.
I think it's a good series to be in.
I think it's proper tournament. It's proper tournament. 32 players, 16 players, 8 players. It kind of has that feel of like what you were saying before. There's a little bit of a players' lounge where you can go. It's not too busy, and they're the events you want to play in. So yeah, they're brilliant tournaments. But I wasn't going to like go and enter and play in loads of tournaments that I didn't actually want to play in just for the chance to play in it. I thought, no, I'm not really that bothered, So nah.
Steph Shannon says, would you both have liked to play each other in a world final? I mean, as someone asked me the other day, it was one of my regrets that I didn't play Steve in a world final. Because when I was taking number 1 off him and we were like fighting for the rat, I would like to play him in the final, but obviously it would have been amazing to play you in a final as well.
Yeah.
Played in, was it two semis or 3? No, 4 semis.
Was it 4? Yeah, 4 semis. Yeah.
3. 4. Yeah, you beat. I won 1. You won 3.
No, you won 2. No, you won 2.
Did I?
Yeah, you beat me in 99.
Right, yeah.
I was actually watching our 99 match because I kind of like with YouTube now, a lot of stuff comes up and I watch it. And I thought our match in 99 was a really, really good game. I think we had 4 centuries in 4 frames.
Yeah, you missed a ping for the maximum, didn't you?
Yeah, you were 6-1 up. You were 6-1 up and were taking me apart. And then somehow I managed to get back in the game. Got it back to 12-all. I always say that match changed my approach to how I looked at snooker. Because I went 13-12 up, and then I was on 32 in the next, and I was so nervous. I was holding it with the rest, and I missed it. But in my mind, I felt like I was on the defensive. Whereas you got more aggressive. You were going for shots. I'm sitting there, and you were going for shots and getting them. And I'm thinking, wow, this is risky, and they were going in. And that's when I realised that for me to become a champion, I needed to not kind of wait for it to happen or hope my opponent makes a mistake. So I went away there and I thought, at them crunch times, you've got to take the ball by the horns. And you taught me that day of, if I was to become a champion and win tournaments, that's what I needed to do. So that match sticks in my memory quite a lot.
Cool. Max Cox 01. Any specific goals in the game left? Just to.
No, I think the key. I think the key for me really is to try and you kind of like when I was younger and like coming, playing, and there was me, Higgins, and Williams, and we like obviously you was still winning everything. He was always chasing you down in a way. We was just always trying to sort of, get better as players, learn from you, and stuff like that. And then comes a point where you're playing guys that are a lot younger than you, and it's very hard to keep shaking them off. And mentally, I don't want to kind of feel like I'm swimming against the tide. So the reason why I play just to have fun and enjoy it, and maybe like this year, I was starting to go for a lot of shots, and I was playing a lot quicker. Just kind of just change it up a bit and just have a bit of fun and just try and enjoy it, because the minute you stop enjoying it, if you're not enjoying it, but you're winning tournaments and you're young, you can kind of get your head around it. But if you're kind of past your best and you're getting on a bit and you've got young guys, chipping away at you and you're not enjoying it, then you've got to put your cue away. So I have to find ways just to enjoy the game, and because I don't want to not travel, I don't not want to have something to do. So, the key is to enjoy it really. And if I get a few results, then that's a bonus, Yeah.
I looked on at travel. There's loads of people saying hello from all these countries, Iran, Turkey, everywhere. Is there anywhere you haven't been you want to go?
I'd like to go to Iran. I heard snooker's really big out there and they love it. So, I'd like to go to Iran. But otherwise, we've kind of been everywhere, really. Never played in Japan, never been there. So that might be. I don't know whether they're up for snooker out there or not, though. So,
Ashok Dimri says, Judd says Ronnie was his idol when he's growing up. How does he look at Trump now as a player and individual? I mean, did you think he would win 6 tournaments this year? I mean, I thought he was going to win the way he won the World Championship, but to be honest, he's done more than I thought he was going to do this season. I think he's been brilliant. Yeah,
no, he's a brilliant player. He's got so much talent and so much cue power, and he plays shots that no one can play. And you know, when he, you know, he's a confidence player as well. So sometimes, you know, you can be 5-6 frames up on him, but if he kind of gets, you know, he starts fancying it, you know, the scoreboard goes out the window and he just pots and scores and scores, and you know, and he does it so fast as well. So, you know, I've practiced with Judd a lot, so I know how good he is, you know, and I think this year, I think his brother has obviously been a massive help to him. There's no coincidence since he's come along. He's kind of steadied him up a bit. You know, he plays a little bit more safety. He's a bit more patient, but he still hasn't lost any of the aggressive, high scoring. And, you know, and like, I think once you start winning tournaments, you start to fancy it under pressure a bit more as well. And I think up until winning that World Championships or a couple of tournaments before, if there was a little thing in his game, it was if it went close, he might make the odd mistake, and that was a way of where he'd lose some matches. But he seems to be winning a lot of deciders now, and I think that comes from winning and confidence. So I'm not surprised he's won 6 tournaments, because there's so many tournaments now. You know, if you're going to play like 18 tournaments, you can win 1 in 3, you can win 1 in 2. You know, So you know, I think he's head and shoulders above anybody else out there at the moment.
Someone just put in there, were you guys close to Paul Hunter? I wasn't as close. You were quite close to him. How, like, tell people what I mean. Great player, great guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, Paul Hunter was just a top guy. And listen, it's very hard to have. You know, I always believe if you're really friendly with people on the circuit that you're playing in matches, you know, they're kind of quite superficial relationships, really. And I was,
that was part of my downfall as well, getting too friendly with people. Yeah,
you kind of have to keep yourself to yourself, really. But with Paul, I remember like we had intense time together. So we was in Thailand and we just locked ourselves in a room for a week. Only come out to play a match, but in between we were just having so much fun in the room. You know, like all sorts was going on, you know, and so we had a good time, you know. And Paul, you know, it just that's how it was, you know. Jimmy would be there as well. We'd have, you know, we just had fun.
Yeah. Bino Moore says, how much is success down to talent and how much is hard work?
I think, you know, talent will take you so far. What I have seen is people that work hard at the game that have got no talent have gone on to win maybe 1 ranking event, might have got 2. I've seen people with more talent than me and the sort of talent that Jimmy White and Judd Trump has got, just not make it, you know, just not even turn professional. There's a guy called Chris Scanlon. Chris Scanlon was a fantastic junior and had unbelievable talent. But he never knuckled down. So I think, you know, hard work will get you rewards at the end of the day. But to be like on your level, John Higgins, Judd Trump, that level, you need to have talent and hard work. I suppose, don't know about that.
Tahir Vazevdar says, what was it like to visit Elvis's house? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know what?
You got his hair.
What's that?
You got his hair.
Do you know what? It was a bit of a letdown, to be honest with you, because I'm one of them people, when I go into someone's house, I like to get very comfortable. I take my shoes off, I get on the sofa. You know, if they want to offer me a cup of tea, I'm like, yeah, a bit of food. I'll really make myself at home. And then I feel like I've been welcomed properly. But we went into Elvis's house and he said, you can't go here and you can't go there and you can't go here. And I went, you know what? I actually don't feel like, you know, I'm not enjoying this experience. I mean, even when on the pool table, I went, oh no, you can't hit the balls. And I was like, okay, not that I wanted to, but it was just all that sort of stuff, you know. So, and I'm sure if Elvis was alive, it'd have been a much different sort of welcome. You know, it'd have been, you know, you'd have had total fun. So yeah, it was great to visit it, but it didn't. Yeah, it wasn't the most welcoming of stays.
Mike Burns 236. I've been asked this before. It's very hard to narrow it down. What's the funniest highlight of your career?
The funniest highlight of my career?
Yeah, funniest things. Oh, I mean, I've got something down. I remembered, but I don't know. I don't know whether you'll say it. Like the streaker against Davis was funny, and the Masters fight. Yeah,
that was kind of funny. But I think the funniest thing was when I played Tony Knowles, DK, and he was gone then. He was like at the end of his career. He was so bad. It was like he couldn't put 2 balls together. And I think my highest break was 30 in the match, and I'm 4-1 up, and he needs a snooker. And the green's behind the blue, and he's stunned the white behind it. It's such an easy snooker to get, but he's forgot about the green, and he's potted the green, so he's ended up snookering himself on the brown. I just started laughing during the match. I got the giggles, and he's looked at me like, "Say, what are you laughing at?" I couldn't control it, and then I go in to do the interview afterwards, and I'm still laughing. And he's invited himself into the interview. He just walked in. They've not asked him to come in, and he's coming. Oh, so that was probably one of the funniest moments, because you know what TK's like. You know, he talks.
Oh my God!
But God,
the stories about him, the story about him and John Paris, old manager, bless him, Phil, he's not with us now, but arguing over the best way to throw an egg for about half an hour. And TK's like, you have to hold it long ways. Another one's saying, you have to hold it that way. And he's like, he was convinced, and he was telling me he was playing the seniors thing, and we were talking about cooking and everything, and so we're talking about the best way to mash potatoes. And he says, you know, when you're cutting them, he says, you have to cut them down the middle, or else they won't go properly, they'll break apart. And I'm like, how do you know?
Oh, he's unbelievable, isn't he? He
knows everything about everything.
He can chat for England.
I always remember, like, when if a new player was on the circuit, this was years ago, and Tony got beat, used to, for a wind-up, you say, I'll go and ask Tony how he got on. They'd be there for an hour. Like, go and ask him. Dave C. Garcia says, Ronnie's basic nutrition, and what % of success is down to that, and do you take supplements, like vitamin supplements or anything like that?
No, I don't do supplements. I just try and eat quite healthy and quite. I mean, I used to just eat too much, so I always ate quite healthy. But I would just eat like double the portions that I should. And when I wasn't training, I kind of blew up. But then I started running, and I could kind of eat what I like. But last 10 years, I've not been able to run properly, so kind of like my weight's got a bit bigger. So, but I try and be sensible in my thought. If I'm training and exercising, I automatically make better choices. So for me, the key is to train and exercise. Then I don't really want to eat so much rubbish, you know.
Yeah. Right, listen, I've got so many more questions, but they've gone over. I don't want to keep you there all on.
Listen, mate, anytime if you want to carry on, or maybe next week or whenever.
Let me just have a look through and see like if there's anything that stands out. Because there's so many questions. We can do it again one day, but I don't know. Or someone says, what's your favourite car you've had?
R8.
Yeah?
The R8. Oh, mate, monster. Beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. I remember you used to get some cars. Do you remember that you used to win the World Championships? You got the Ferrari, the Bentley, and I remember you had the M5.
Well, they're showing the world. I think the World Championship, the 1817, with me and Jimmy on Saturday, we missed that black, didn't we? So I was clearing up, and like when I got to the colours, all I was thinking about was getting a Bentley. I wasn't even thinking about the trophy or anything. I said, I'm going to get a Bentley. It's like,
they were the good old days, though, weren't they? Do you remember Sweater Shop?
Oh,
great sponsors they were.
Unbelievable helicopters I was getting from the first
mate,
of the world.
That's what I say. It was like David Beckham at the time when you were flying and winning. It was, it was like proper. You was flying and. You go to Dubai. I remember, Dubai, they used to love you out there. I mean, I always say the respect that you got around the world from everybody because of how good you was and the way you played the game. I've never seen people, I see people see superstars and that, but I've never seen people give the respect that they give to you, So you were like the best for our sport and the way you
thanks very much.
I learned so much off you, mate, honestly.
Yes,
you was like my hero. You still are.
Means a lot. I actually did. I was going through Q Tracker because I wanted to do like trivia questions about your career. I didn't know how knowledgeable you were in your career. I'm hopeless on mine. But I was trying to find quick because there were so many questions. I didn't have time, but I got 3 right. They're not very good, right? So I'll just see if you know the very shit questions. But who did you lose to in the 1991 English Amateur Final?
Steve Judd.
Well done.
Steve Judd, 13-11 or 13-10, I think it was, on buckets. Yeah. Northern Snooker Centre. Yeah, it was on buckets, mate. He was potting them from everywhere, done me head in.
So you obviously beat me in the 93 UK final. That was your first... Was that your first major ranking to it? So your second one, 94, you won the British Open. Who'd you beat in the final?
Did I beat Matana?
Yeah.
9-4.
It was 9-4. Jeez.
Was it 9-4? Yeah. Not bad.
Right, you get this one. We played in the UK Championship final, 1997. You beat me 10-6.
Yeah.
How many centuries was in the final?
None.
Well, what year like telepathic?
Because I remember it was one of our worst games, and one of them like.
I couldn't believe it. I was reading it. I thought none.
You didn't, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I always say. When you played well, you won. The only time you kind of lost when you didn't play well. And although I won that tournament, I come off the thing. If Stephen would have played well today, he would have battered me. So I kind of always thought.
I couldn't believe it though. I didn't know it. I was looking through it. I thought that's got to be wrong, but unbelievable.
I remember it weren't a great match, and I think I just
16 frames
dragged you down
no
to my
century.
level. I dragged you down to my level, mate. I did. I done an Hendry on you. I suffocated you.
Listen, mate, thanks very much for doing this. I appreciate it.
No problem, mate.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime, anytime.
Cool. I enjoyed it. Cheers,
cool,
Ronnie.
Nice one. Cheers,
Stay
Stephen.
safe. Stay safe.
Take care. You too. Bye, mate. Bye.
Oh, big shout out to Ronnie for doing that tonight. That was amazing. See, well over 2,000 of you watching that, so that was really good. And I didn't, again, I showed you all these questions. I didn't get a chance to get through them. Really apologise. But it was a great chat. And as I say, thanks for all that. Thanks for your input. And till the next time, stay safe.